Right. Let's get a new 30-minute game going. The white pieces. We will be playing the Queen's Gambit, if we are so allowed. Expecting d5, c4, hopefully. Fantastic. Hopefully we get d takes c4. No, a knight out. So I think the move here is they reinforce this pawn with something that is not another pawn. We just take it. Can recapture either way. So I think here, I think the way to do it is if they bring their knight out to c6, then we need to reinforce with e3 because trying to attack the queen just loses the pawn because they have the knight defending that square as well. But here I think we can bring out a knight and sort of drive their queen away. So we're allowed to develop with tempo. Probably queen out to a5 would be my guess. That's my guess. Is like queen out to a5, e6, bishop out to b4 is our opponent's next three moves. But let's see. Let's see what they do. They have a lot of different options. Well, they're gonna move their queen somewhere. And then what we will do next is probably not e4, so if their queen goes out to a5, if we came out to e4, they would be able to take it because our knight is now pinned here. The queen would be pinning the knight to the king. So I think we would play e3, reinforce this pawn and open up our light squared bishop. Maybe bishop out just e2 and knight out to f3, just simple development, and we get castled. If our opponent does, let's see if they do queen out like this. What should we do in that case if they have two attackers on the square? I think then we might consider bishop out to c2. I think the danger with bishop to c2 is the queen is no longer defending this d4 pawn, which I think it is important to have a pawn in the center. It's just nice to control some center squares. I would love to play e4 given the chance to control like all of these. So there's the danger there if we play c2. We're cutting off one defender from this pawn. Okay, queen back to the starting square. I think that's a valid move. So I think we just play e4. Just gobble up as much of the center as possible. They might play e5. In which case, I don't... If they play e5, I wouldn't want to take because that opens up a queen trade, and we do have the opportunity to recapture without forfeiting castling rights. But mostly I'm just interested in getting developed. I don't want to do a queen trade right now. I think it's very interesting to have the queens on the board. So let's keep them on the board for now. Now we have two checks available to us in case our opponent tries to do anything sneaky. I can't imagine they would want to put a piece on either of these spots. Opponent is apparently not very familiar with these positions. One thing we could do here is play e5. Actually, I don't love that. I know there are, like if we played e5 and that came out to here, we could trap the knight with f3 because that covers all of the possible escape squares, but they'd be able to trade, so let's not do that. But yeah, I mean, unless our opponent plays anything, I don't get the sense that they're going to play anything aggressive or very keeping in theory with the Queen's Gambit. So I think we'll have the opportunity to just develop however we want. I don't love bishop out to b5. It is protected by the knight, but it just runs into c6. So I think be bishop to c4. We could we could threaten a Scholar's Mate if we wanted to, if we can get this knight out of the way. That feels a little cheesy. Bishop out to c4, knight out to f3, and then we just get castled. So I think unless our opponent does anything wild and crazy, or anything to put pressure on our position, I think that's what we'll be doing. That's our next three moves. But at this rate, our opponent is going to lose on time. This may be another very boring video, but hey, what are you going to do? I have been thinking about recording 2 videos. Oh, here we go. Okay. Bishop out to g4, protected by the knight, hitting our queen. I think that's a decent move. So I think what we do here, we could play bishop to f2. They take, we recapture with the knight. So we've traded off our light squared bishops, which, I don't know, I'm sort of ambivalent to. I don't have a strong opinion right now, sort of at the rating that I'm at about having a light squared bishop in these positions. But what I do know is that if we do this and they take, and we take back, we've just developed, 2 additional pieces, and then made castling an option, which I really, really like. Yeah, perfect. We get castled. We'll be able to get our dark squared bishop out somewhere. Yeah, easy peasy. We still have this check available if they do something. I wonder if that was an option. Yeah, we could have run out to here if these pieces were not in the way. Okay, they play e6, planning on getting their dark squared bishop out, probably planning this pin. Let's go ahead and get castled, get our king to safety. Yeah, and now we can start to look at, well, I think e4 is appealing, yeah. So this is a trade I'm happy to make if they just want to get rid of all their bishops and leave us with a dark square bishop to sort of terrorize the board once the position opens up a little bit. That's fine by me. Let's threaten their knight. Get our dark square bishop developed somewhere. I guess maybe that would have been a better move order, is dark square bishop out to here, pinning the knight to the queen, and then playing e5. I think that would have won us a knight. Our opponent is able to castle now. Okay. Let's see. So I'd like to develop our dark squared bishop. These are defended by the knight. This is defended by the queen. It's defended by the pawn. Actually, don't love our options. And get out to here just for the sake. Oh, here, no. Here we go. Okay. So we have this check available to us, potentially winning this piece. But the bishop is defended by this knight. So we could take the knight. And I think no matter how they recapture, either with the queen or with the pawn, we still have this check available to us, and they can't defend it. No, they can bring their knight out, so they can defend it in such a way that, or they can get in the way of the check in such a way that it defends the knight. Do we still go for it? What are our other options? So we take here. So we have this, not exactly a tactic, because with correct play, if black doesn't lose anything. Other options, develop our dark squared bishop. I think just out to d2. We could kick away the bishop and probably trade here. And that doesn't really accomplish anything. I say we go for the tactic. We might get lucky and our opponent fumbles it, and if not, we've developed our queen and we've ruined ruined is perhaps a strong word, but attacked our opponent's pawn chain. So let's take the knight. I'll probably recapture the queen is my guess. And I like this idea. So we'll get our queen out. Also, having our queen here, if we do get this opportunity to attack the bishop in this way, or capture the bishop in this way, if we have our queen here, that also threatens this b7 square, this pawn on b7, which I think is nice, because right now the rook is trapped, because they haven't developed completely. So I would like to see that option there. It also just come out to here, but that's not quite as aggressive. They could also, okay, yeah, queen comes out. Let's proceed with our plan. Check. Knight needs to come out here. Now the knight is pinned. I guess we could scare away their queen. No, that blunders the pawn. Now we have some additional squares open for dark squared bishop to develop to if we want to connect the rooks. We could kick away the bishop, and then where would it go? Probably back to here, because these are all covered. Does that accomplish anything for us? I don't think so. We could go here. And yeah, I think this is a nice way to force that trade. We get a longer pawn chain, because right now their knight is threatening this piece. Yeah, so I like this better as an option. And then we'll get our dark squared bishop developed sort of as quickly as possible. I guess after, I'm assuming, they take here, we take back, they make a move, and then we have this nice a3 square for a dark squared bishop, which prevents castling because it's threatening right there. It's the king cannot travel through an attacked square when it's castling. Could move out here. I don't know if that's worthwhile. So our opponent either has to move their queen. So are there any... I don't think they have anywhere to move it, really. I guess they can move here. I should have looked at this. Where can their queen move? It's a dangerous diagonal. So they can't move here. Loses the queen, loses the queen. This is the queen. This is the queen. Oh boy. Um. Oh, they take our pawn. I didn't see that. Very clever. So I think we take this opportunity to develop our dark square bishop. And we should play this more cautiously. Our opponent, I think, found a move that I didn't expect, so I need to be more wary. I think our opponent is cunning and wise, so we need to be careful. So we move our bishop out here. Where can their queen go? They could take our other pawn. So that's not an option. It's not an option. Can't stay in place. So they have a lot of options, including taking our other pawn. So is there a way that we can handle this? It's actually not amazing. I don't love this. We could move our queen up here, threatening to take the b7 pawn. So that defends this pawn. I'm not super worried about like bishop to c5 forming this queen bishop battery, because in this case it's pointing at our f2 pawn, which is defended twice. So less worried about that. Yeah, so I like queen to b5, both defending this pawn and threatening queen takes b7. If they move here, we can move here, likely winning their knight. But we are playing with fire here. I think it's dangerous to have our queen this far advanced and a little bit isolated from the rest of our pieces, so we do need to be careful. A6, queen takes b7, threatening to take, really forking their rook and their knight. I think they're likely to castle here. I think that would be a very good idea for our opponent. So if we take that, or let's see, they castle, we can take this. Probably their rook comes out to try to threaten us, and then we can take their knight. That leaves us, I think, in sort of a dangerous position, so we'll just have to play carefully, play it safely. We have 22 minutes to figure this out. What does our opponent want to do? Okay, they take our knight. Is our knight protecting anything important? Our knight was protecting our queen. Is there anywhere they want to go? Not sure I understand this move. Is there somewhere they wanted to go that was protected by the knight? Or they just want to get rid of the dark squared bishop? Maybe they want to go here? Can't get here. I don't know. My guess is more, we'll see, takes. They're just sort of needlessly threatening a rook. Yeah. But we can develop our dark squared bishop, connect the rooks, and then this is sort of a moot point. We could also say, hey, I don't care about your threat. Take this pawn. They capture. We get their rook with check. They need to move here, here. We can get their other rook. Or we could take their pawn. They take our rook. We take their rook with check. They need to move here, here. Could potentially move. Oh yeah, if we move out here. Okay. Yeah, let's flesh out this thought completely. So if we take this pawn, they take our rook. We take their rook with check. They move, let's say they move to here or to here. If they move to e7, we can check and then take their queen. And let's redo some arrows. Take their pawn, take the check. If they move to d7, I think we just take their other rook. And we're up, you know, all the material in the world. They just have their queen and their knight. Okay, yeah. Is there anything else they could do in response to queen takes b7? I think their knight is too far to threaten anything. I guess if we take it, they could just castle. And if that happens, I should have calculated that out before taking the piece. Okay, they just castle. Yeah. Well, this is not an option. This is an option. Guessing was the right move there. Good find by our opponent. I say let's develop our dark square bishop, sort of mitigating this threat of the queen coming in, and we mitigate that by connecting the rooks. Move our bishop up to somewhere where it's protected, e3. Probably take here. Should have seen that. They're gobbling up our pawns. We could advance h4. Yeah. We move over here. We have, I think, the potential for an attack on the king side. Maybe that would have been a better move than a4. Stay focused. Stay calm. Move our queen over here. I guess their knight is defended by the queen, so we're not really threatening that, are we? Move over here. We can fork the queen and the knight, I think potentially winning one. So let's do that next. If they come over to threaten us, which I think is likely, we can't take this pawn because the queen is defending it. So let's move our queen over to e4 to escape the threat. Threatening this fork, which is dangerous. And also threatening if we can get over here somehow, if we can deal with this knight, then we can threaten bishop to h6. This pawn can't capture because the queen is in the way. And then threatening queen takes g7, checkmate. The queen protected by the pawn. Queen protected by the bishop, and king has nowhere to go. So let's see. Our opponent is taking their time to think, which I think is wise. We should prepare similarly. So what else do they have available to them in this position? I think a knight move, I think, could be dangerous. If they take our bishop, it is protected. but this is a dangerous diagonal, I think, to have open. We could always move our queen over, or move our king over, and then we've opened up the F file for attacking, but I don't like that because we're both castle on the same side. We could just threaten their queen. And I think as we've seen in previous games, this combination of like a queen and a rook together. So if we threaten their queen and their queen gets out of the way, we can take this pawn and then start threatening other attacking ideas, like coming out to over here. It's defended twice right now. The situation may change. So I'm going to look back at some moves just in the interest of learning. This pawn was hanging, and I mean, that's part of the whole reason I moved my queen to b5. The castle, I should have calculated out castling. Would I have made a different move here if I had known they were going to castle? Bishop to a3, delays castling for a turn, but blunders the bishop. Okay, here we go. Opponent made a move. Great. They move their rook out, threatening us. This is, I think, sort of what we expected. I want to look at this move, see if that still makes sense. Actually, I guess my queen moves out here. Their bishop can come out to b4, again threatening her queen. Oh, well, then that blunders the whole game, because then we just capture on a8, and we get a nice back rank checkmate. Okay. Let's proceed with our plan. Looking to fork the queen and the knight. And right now the knight is only defended by the queen. So we move out here. And we can either capture like this or capture like this. And we have just this lovely threat of if they do bring this rook out, we capture on the back rank, and we have unstoppable checkmate. Would love to see such a blunder, but I don't think it's very likely. Our opponent is playing very well. Here we go. Okay, so they threaten our queen. Do we go with the counterplay? So we move out here. They take our queen. We take their queen. They move their knight to safety. To any of these like light squares, really. Not here, but really anywhere else. So is that a worthwhile trade? They have weakened their king side a little bit by playing this f5 move. Um, hmm. Let's see. So our options are proceed with our plan. See how badly they want to keep their queen. This is effectively a queen trade. So take, take. And then they have to move their knight away, so we have the advantage of moving next. I don't think we could generate any real threats right off the bat, especially without our queen on the board. We're also down 2 pawns, so I don't like the idea of doing a queen trade and moving directly into an endgame. We could move our queen out of harm's way, which actually we don't have a lot of squares to go to. Let's see what our options are. So these are all attacked by the rook. These are all attacked by the queen. Attacked by the knight, attacked by the knight, and the pawn. Can't stay here. Defended, defended. Uh, so we only have 2 squares that we can move to if we do want to move the queen out to safety. Is there anything that's super threatening and fun for us? Queen out to here. We don't have any way that we can like hit the king with check on the next turn. No. So what if we just, yeah, move here? Gosh, if we move here, then this move has a lot more venom in it. I think we just need to offer the queen trade. Let's offer it, so we can offer it like this or offer it like this. Either way, we get that extra tempo. Let's do it the most direct way. Take, and we take back, and then the knight has to move somewhere. Okay. I did spy this move. I guess that doesn't do it. So that does ruin our kingside pawn structure, but our queen is still defended. So, not worried about that. Okay. Knight moves away. We proceed with the game. We could move to h3 to prevent, or at least mitigate, back rank mate ideas. We could move back here to threaten our bishop. Yep. And I think if we defend it, we defend our bishop, then this is likely. And then we would need to move it anyways. Excuse me. Needless bishop sacrifice. Take here, and then we have like some convoluted deliver a check. I don't think that's going to do it though. Maybe just move our bishop back out of harm's way. But I would say we are firmly on the defensive now. Our opponent has more pawns. Our opponent is looking to double their rooks. We can threaten their knight and force it to move by getting one of our rooks out into the game. Oops. Where would it go? That blunders the knight. All of these are good options for our opponent. This, I think, these two wander into attacks from our bishop. Actually, if they want to move here, that's fine by me. But let's get our rook out into the open, hitting their knight. And then I guess we can take this pawn. Should be very wary of doing too much with our rooks while we have this sort of wall of pawns in front of our king. In fact, it might be prudent to play h3, get sort of that escape hatch snorkel going. I do believe they're going to lose this pawn, though. So they can't bring anything in to defend the knight, because we will take it. Not only will we take it, or if they try to defend with their rook, We take the rook, they take it back, and then they lose the knight anyways. And we have 2 pieces for the price of 1, which would be great. I think no matter where they move their knight, can't move here. They can't move it anywhere that will defend this pawn. So probably looking for a move that they can play with tempo. Doesn't lose them a piece. This loses a piece. Um, a lot of great options for our opponent. We are running low on time. And I know, especially in end games, I can tend to make poor decisions when I'm feeling crunched for time. So I'll try to make the next few moves a little bit faster, with a little bit more speed. But also being aware that I have the opportunity to blunder the game here if we play poorly. So let's see what our opponent does. Not expecting a rook move. I'm expecting, I don't know, knight to, I mean, this is forkable. Yeah. Okay. And then are they looking for, like, maybe knight out here next? But we'll take this pawn. Oh gosh. Well done. Actually, not the end of the world, because our piece is protected here. So I think we just move back to where we came from. Actually, we could move here, threatening this pawn. Yeah, let's do that. Let's threaten some more pawns. Their rooks are now doubled, so they're not really threatening any back rank mate ideas. Let's, make them make the decision. And two, if they take here, then our problem of needing an escape square for our king has been solved. If this pawn goes away, then we can move up to f2 if they try to checkmate us on the back rank. They take here, we take back. Okay. And we've won a pawn in the exchange. Okay, they go back to defend their pawn. I think we need to get our king involved now. Maybe we can push this pawn up to promotion. But let's get our king in the game. It's a little bit dangerous with rooks still on the board, but if we can centralize our king, I think we'll have an advantage. So maybe here we win a pawn in the exchange. They're getting their king out as well. It's a good move. They are, of course, a little bit closer to their pawns. We'll need to play this cautiously. We can double our rooks. Do we want to trade rooks here? Yeah, I think starting to run low on time, just in the interest of making the game a little bit simpler, let's trade rooks. And then maybe we move our rook out to here. Or do we want to get our king more centralized? Yeah. Let's move our king up. We have 3 open files that we can use. So I think the rooks are going to travel pretty much uncontested across the whole board. This is our most advanced pawn. All of our pawns are opposed. They have this extra pawn here that we'll need to be wary of. We could try to trade it out like this. I don't know if that actually accomplishes anything for us. It's also not really an option. Let's get our rook into the game a little bit. And just be very wary. Okay. Oh boy. They fork us immediately. Um, this blunders a pawn. We can't capture back, so I think we do need to move back. Okay. We're going to the 7th rank, I guess. Now they have a excellent passing pawn. Maybe I should leave my rook on this back rank. So I think for passed pawns on A, B, G, and H, you just need your king and your rook on that back rank to sort of prevent any passed pawns ideas. So I'm going to try that. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I feel good about it. They can advance their pawn sort of up to the promotion square, but they need to get their king involved as well. Yep, they will try to advance. I guess we could go back up here, preventing. They can't move their rook out of the way of the pawn. Well, no, they can move it down. Yeah, we should leave our stuff there. So maybe we move like this and trade off these pawns. Oh gosh. Okay. I thought if they left their rook there, that would have been dangerous for us because they could take, 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 and then again I'm in a bad position because their rook is protecting that pawn. Just reduce and simplify as much as possible, and hopefully, okay, they push their pawn. Um, does it make sense to push up a little bit here? I guess if we go here, they skewer our pawn. Well, it's sort of a nothing burger. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. You know, here we can take their pawn. They can defend it. We go here, we can push with the check, but I don't think that accomplishes anything. Hmm. We get around this way. No, they just move back, and then I've got to move my rook again. I think threatening this pawn. Well, they can defend it with their king. What if we move up? And then we can defend like that. I guess they can push this pawn down. Okay. Let's move back. Gosh. Now they don't have a way to defend this pawn, I don't think. Well, they do. They just push it, and then we need to do a rook trade, which is not in our favor, given the number of pawns that they have. So we could try to run all the way over here and snap up this pawn. That's going to take 1,000 moves. And in the meantime, their king is going to snap up our pawns. Yeah, they'll advance that pawn. Can we do anything? We check. They probably move out here. Let's check and see what they do. I guess this would be a good move. Well, no, that just blunders the rook. Hoping to force them back a little bit. But I mean, we're not really forcing anything because they can move to e5. They're up 2 pawns. I mean, this is certainly a lost position for us. I think with perfect play, they're going to end up advancing one of these pawns all the way to the finish line. This is too far advanced for me to get over there. Yeah, I think that's the right move. Our king can't get around here because this pawn is in the way. Can't move our rook up to here with check. Are there any other checks we could deliver? Up, over. Let's check. But then we need to move to the back rank immediately. That's sort of the trick, is like we need to move to the back rank, or move off the back rank with check. With check is critical, and then immediately move back so we can defend against. Yeah. We sort of harass our opponent that way. Probably take here. I don't think this is doing anything for us other than just costing us pawns. And allowing their king to advance into our territory. Actually, hey, now their king has intercepted. Oh, fabulous. Shucks. I missed an opportunity there. Okay. So now we're in super danger. Just move sort of back and forth. Is their king going to come down? If their king comes down here, we get this pawn. King does not do so. Not very obliging. Oh, here we go. So we're going to lose our rook. So they will promote. We have to take. And then they take back. So is there anything we can threaten? I don't think so. Threaten their king that way. Yeah, I think we just throw something at the wall and see what sticks. They'll promote. we'll take a pawn, I guess. Let's check. Move out of the way. Probably promote another piece. Yep, they're going to skewer our rook. At least we can move back to defend it. This is probably the move, honestly, with... They've got an excellent opportunity for a ladder checkmate here. I would just trade a queen for... trade a queen for my rook, and then... Although, do we have an opportunity for forcing a stalemate here? The more pieces they put on the board, the more likely it is. And I just want to see... I think I want to stay in the middle. Should do that and do a ladder checkmate. Ooh, we're threatening their queen. Black one by checkmate. There we go. Let's take a look at the review. Definitely a couple of misses. No blunders for me, fortunately. But I did miss... Our opponent blundered at some point. Zero book moves. I thought e4 was fine, but that's good to know. Oh, I see. This is a nice idea. So, rather than defending our queen and getting ready for checkmate, we could have moved our queen to b3, exploring the same idea we saw earlier of like hitting the b7 pawn. Show idea, retreat. Yeah, and then we have this strong attack here. Okay, missed opportunity. Castling was great. I'm able to win material through a fork. So I should have played... Well, what material was I going to win? Oh gosh. This is a... a 7-move sequence that I could have won material. I think maybe if I had just gone for it, we would have seen... This sort of would have evolved naturally. The queen to a4 check is so powerful. Yeah, okay. So explore that next time. Exchange. And then this, it was a miss. I gave up a pawn here. Able to win a pawn through a fork. This is another 4-move sequence. Yeah, these are hard to spot. b7. Yeah, missed. Yeah, this was definitely a bad move. a4, just sort of like a silly waiting move that should have been avoided. This was all good. This was calculated correctly. Okay. Still sort of holding our own here. Yeah, activated our kings. I guess we could have doubled our rooks instead. Okay, and then a long sort of slog of an endgame. That neither good nor bad, it seems like. I think, yeah, black is winning by a lot, pretty much since this point. So, shucks. I'm not saying that I missed anything super obvious, but our opponent certainly had checkmating opportunities much earlier in the game. They didn't need to spend 10 moves checkmating us. Oh well. Okay. It's another loss for the Bucks. No clear themes, I would say. I think, other than like keeping an eye out on this queen to a4 check, is such a strong move, especially once we're castled and they're not castled. We've seen this in the Caro-Kann too. When white is castled and black is not castled, the opportunities for tactics abound. So maybe I just go for the check and see what comes up. Alright, until next time.